Another week goes by and another chance for Tony and I to say on this great show, Banditland Boulevard. I'm Trevor. That's Tony. The Bandits get a dub. They didn't just get a dub. They absolutely read the screen if you're watching this on video. Bandits mollywopped the Vancouver Warriors 15-5 on Saturday on a game that started off as superhero night, which then turned into lacrosse night, which then turned into fight night, and then turned into superhero night again. 15-5 against Czech's Notes. At the time, the number one ranked team in the unified standings in the National Lacrosse League. I think, honestly, Tony, just to say right off the bat before we get into some of the stats here, the Bandits are back, America and Canada. Deal with it. Deal with us. Right. Because the Bandits are back, and they have not only beat the best team in the league by 10 goals on Saturday, but they inevitably – see, like my clever wordplay there with the Thanos jerseys. They inevitably clinch a postseason spot. So the Bandits are right back in the playoffs this year with a chance to complete a historic four-peat in the National Lacrosse League. They have that legit shot now. They already punched their ticket into the playoffs. No matter if they lose out or if they win out, they still secure that spot. But I think the Bandits, this is just routine for them, Tony. They clinched their playoff spot. What they're looking for right now is a top four seeding. They want to host that do-or-die quarterfinal matchup, then get into the best of three. But if you're a Bandits fan right now, or if you're a Bandits player, you will absolutely take this 10-6 record. It guarantees you a playoff spot, and you just beat the best team in the league 15-5, 10 goals, a long overdue offensive explosion on the Bandit side of things. I would take this all day. Best regular season game the Bandits have played all season long, and it came in Game 16.
Sixth straight win after the loss to them back in February of the 20th of this 2026. And what a turnaround, because this game not only was important to get the split, but the goal differential as well. Losing by 2 last time, but then increasing that by winning by 10. That gives us a +8. And on top of it, the next time, if we, God forbid, we win out, we could surpass Vancouver, that means we could surpass them because of the goal differential, even though we split the series 1-1. But after that shellacking, I could not believe the fact that how much of a statement that they made, but how well they played as a team. They played consistent. That was the huge part, playing consistent. And not only players to step up, I know we can't say players, we'll get to that point, but I'm just saying other players filling in the shoes for other people that were not playing. Oh, my God. I am a true believer that this team, again, has become the word dynasty across the National Lacrosse League because they can go again for their 4th straight title, claiming their 8th time. Just to say it sounds so enduring. 8th time champions is a possibility because of how much difference they went from being in the first half of the season to this coming here right now, proving a point why they are the defending champions of the National Lacrosse League.
Defending champions for the past 3 seasons, and this game was a microcosm of why they won those 3 titles.
Wow.
During times of the season, even in all 3 of these seasons, 3.5, we're going for the 4-peat now, so 3 seasons and change, you have some stinkers in there where you're thinking, do the Bandits really have it? We were stupid in January, Tony, when we were saying, I don't know, something doesn't look right. Something doesn't look right. They look all. They're all a year older. They look old. And all of a sudden, Steve Dietrich at that trade deadline, they go 6-6 during that weekend, the weekend that changed the season, the weekend of February 27th and 28th, where they beat the Rush and beat the Rock home and away. And all of a sudden, their season, it was a new season at that point. And you have some games, and some seasons that they're few and far between, where you have some bad games where you're like, I don't know if this team looks playoff ready, or I don't know what it is. But the one word that we are going to use here, and it works out perfectly because I mentioned before the Thanos jersey on Marvel Night. They are inevitable. I mean, at this point, Tony, this team is inevitable. Some team has to prove to me that they can take down the big dogs. I mean, you mentioned it earlier, Tony, when you said the Bandits split the season series between the Warriors and the Bandits.
Yep.
Yeah, they lost to them on the road by 2, but you could see where the more dominant team was in this season series. I mean, the Bandits they looked down and out in that first game in Vancouver, down 5-1. They go on a 6-goal run and take a 7-5 lead in a game that they probably should have won, that they probably should have held on to if they scored more in the second half. They definitely would have won that game. But then you go to this game. They were more prepared mentally. They're coming off a 5-game heater. They got Banditland behind them. They came off of back-to-back weeks where they scored 8 goals, and then they scored 9 goals. Or it might be flip-flop. 9 goals, then 8 goals. So you knew that they were due for an offensive explosion. Joe Rezateritz was due for a multi-goal game. And all those pieces kind of came together, stirred up into one big pot, and you got yourself a big game. But the Bandits look like the more dominant team. I know the Warriors are ranked higher than them in the standings because of their win-loss record. They're 11-5, I believe, and the Bandits are 10-6.
Yep.
I don't care what the standings say. You saw who the better team was. On paper, you saw who the better team was physically. When things got tough and when things got out of hand for Vancouver, you saw what they did. They decided to take down our guys and try to fight us and try to instigate fights. When the Bandits, when they get frustrated and they start losing, I mean, this is the stuff that like the Bandits were doing in January. Remember when they got killed by Colorado on the road and they decided we're down by 13 goals here. I'm just going to go out and fight players and we're going to lose our temper and look, almost, I don't want to say childish, but it seems like a very little brother thing to do. When you're getting smoked, start fights and try to, take your anger out there. I'm glad to see where the Bandits are right now. I would rather be 10-6 in April and streaking and surging than be 11-5 and look like you're kind of catching a cold streak here at the wrong time with 2 games remaining. So you see who the better team is. Show me a team right now, Tony. If the season were to end right now, show me a team right now that could end this potential historic four-peat for the Buffalo Bandits. If it didn't come from the best team in the league at the time, where does it come from? I mean, you're not going to see likely, I think Rochester has like a sub 6% chance of making the playoffs. You're not going to see Rochester in the playoffs. You're not going to see Oshawa. You're not going to see Philadelphia. You're probably not going to see San Diego.
Or Calgary. When
you look at a lot of these teams in the top 8, Tony, a lot of these teams, the Bandits have the head-to-head tiebreaker against them.
That's
right. They split with Vancouver. They split with Colorado. They already had the head-to-head over Georgia. They had the head-to-head over Toronto. I think they
swept SAS.
They swept SAS. Yeah, they didn't just beat them once, beat them twice. And, I mean, when you look at teams like Ottawa, that's probably the only team that's in the playoff conversation that has the head-to-head against you. But anyways, this team looks dangerous right now. What I'm trying to say here in a long-winded statement, 15-5 doesn't just show you that, hey, we can hang with the top teams. It shows you we can destroy anyone in our path because the Buffalo Bandits found life towards that middle portion of the season. I expected a win. You expected a win too, Tony. I said 11-9 would get it done. 15-5 is unheard of. And once again on this show, another week where I'm going to take back what I said in January. I'm eating crow on my Matt Vince takes, Tony. When I said that he's a little long in the tooth, doesn't look like he has it anymore. The Halifax game, we had some head-scratching moments there, even though the Bandits won that game. The Colorado game, oh, my goodness, we had some bad ones there too. Some of the previous losses, like the Vancouver loss, we had some questions there. All those questions were answered. In the San Diego game, both Saskatchewan games, outside of a couple squeakers here and there, the Colorado home game and this Vancouver game, this is not a small sample size. You are getting a consistently dominant, and not just good performance, dominant performances from Matt Vince. The fact that he held the best team in the league, the first place team, to under 6 at age 43.
Unreal.
What can you say about that, Tony? I mean, I don't even know where you start with this game, so might as well start with praising the goaltender.
Yeah, might as well. I mean, Matt Vince, again, proved that time and age means nothing to him. He's he finds that fountain of youth, the way he played back when he first began, the reason why he is the GOAT of National Lacrosse League right now in goaltending. And this is just enjoy the moments, people, because this might be the last time we might see Matt Vince. This might be a good sign that he might be sticking around for another year or two. We don't know. It's on Matt Vince's shoulders. And you know what he said basically? He basically said, guys, I'll hold down the fort. You just go out there and do what you do best, and you guys get that plus 10 goal per night. And this is 15. Who would have thought that would have ever happened against Del Bianco, and just getting into his head, making him like not be the best, one of the best goaltenders on the list, if I may say. And he didn't look like no top 3 goaltender like we stated he was. He looked like he was just starting in this league, and he didn't know what the hell to do out there. Like at first we thought, okay, it's tight. The game is going to be back and forth. But then it just all went downhill for him in the third and fourth quarter, and he got pulled. What does that tell you about our offense? No matter who you put in, we're dangerous. We're good. We know how to get under the goaltender. No matter how good you are or how shitty you can be, we find a way to score goals. And I can say this proudly, and I know we're probably going to say about players in the game, but I'm going to just mention this name right now, and that is Josh Byrne. Good Lord, man. You have brought back that fire that is burning that we want to consistently see from you. And that is the thing we love about you, is how good you are out there when you have the confidence in the world, when you know goals are going to go if you just keep on shooting. And look what happens. Points get on the board. You make yourself look great again. An unbelievable stature that not only did you do on the offensive side, but Vince, I have no things bad to say about you. And whatever I have said back when it looked like it was just downhill and it looked like a rebuild year, I am sorry for what I have said about you thinking this was your final year. You have no shortage of whatever career, like it's not ending yet. You still have so many years to come. 5, 10 more. Easy. We can't thank you enough how good you play in that, and what admirations you have for future goaltenders. God forbid if they come to any other different city or towards the teams that are there currently. But man, Matt Vince, all I could say is, sir, I applaud you for your gift that you have for this sport.
Yeah, tip of the cap. Matt Vince is top 1 right now in the league since probably February 27th, whatever day they played the Rush the first time. Yeah, if you want to go back to February 27th, he's got to be the best goaltender in the league. And there's some damn good ones in this league, like Dobson, no slouch, or Riglieri. I mean, they're all very good in their own right. And you got some good stars out there, but I mean, I don't think anyone holds a candle right now since and I mentioned before, Tony, this isn't a small sample size. This isn't just one game out of 5 where Vince looked dominant. No, we're getting consistently great games out of him. And that's a huge contribution to the 6-game win streak that the Bandits are currently on. You also mentioned Josh Byrne, so let's get right into the offense here. Very familiar numbers from your top 2 stars. Josh Byrne, 4 goals, 6 assists, 14 shots on goal, 10 points. Dane Smith, 2 goals, 7 assists for 9 points. 10 points from Byrne, 9 points from Dane Smith. I feel like I'm back in 2022 all over again, Tony.
Absolutely. The way those two had the 1-2 punch that night, especially to make a statement against Vancouver, the so-called top seed going into before this game even started. Allegedly. What more can you ask from these two guys? These guys know how to get the offense going, and they not only used themselves like the 1-2 punch, they used Joe. They used Ian McKay had a 6-point night. Unreal from him. 2 goals, 4 assists, and 6 points. But Bucky getting a couple. Here, okay, since we're talking about players, and this is the player I wanted to mention prior about filling the shoes for the Fogo guy, Dylan Robinson. My God, scoring on a face-off, right off the face-off, collecting it and just taking off and scoring. Connor, take notes. I'm not saying this is not a bad thing for you, but that's the way to do it. That's the way to do it, man. Yep. Dylan Robinson, as quick as he is, and how all-around player, transition defense and scoring that Fogo goal on the. I was in shock. I'm like, where is it? Who's 8? Why is he playing center? But he did it great. Good job on your part, Dylan Robinson, and hope to get you on the show because we're definitely going to talk about that.
A big scrum in front on that faceoff. It took a while for both teams to possess the ball. Ball shoots out past the restraining line, and who's there? Dylan Robinson takes it in on a breakaway and pots it in right behind Christian Del Bianco. And not only that, Tony, we forgot to even mention Josh Burns scoring his first 3 goals were on a natural hat trick in the second quarter. He scored 11:43 remaining in the second quarter to make it 6-4. Then at 5:59 remaining to make it 7-4. Then at 1:45 remaining to make it 8-4. Josh, not only did he score a hat trick, but he scored a natural hat trick. 3 goals in a row for number 22. That's really, really good for him. You mentioned Joe Resetarits too. Great goal song, by the way, working for the weekend. Elite for Buffalo Joe there. That is phenomenal. But he got a hat trick in his own right. Scored the first goal of the game for the Buffalo Bandits, wearing his emergency number 10. I think there was something going on with the jerseys. I think they ordered the jerseys before the trade deadline happened, so they stuck him with the emergency number. I saw a lot of questions about that, and that's kind of what I assumed.
He's still 15, by the way, folks. He is number 15.
They still have number 15 on the Jumbotron, and Swenny still announced him as number 15, Joe Resetarits. So he's still wearing that. Don't be scared or anything nervous if you bought your 15 Resetarits jerseys at the Sabre store already. I think he's going to stick with that number. Not only that, though, Tony, but it looked like our power play just continues to be excellent. 3 for 5 on the power play. Our penalty killing was perfect. They went 0-for-5. And I thought a lot of those penalties were ridiculous. They obviously took the illegal substitution was hilariously stupid because I think there was 7 Bandits on the field at the same time, which waved off in what would have been an Ian McKay goal. But you go from that, you got great special teams numbers. Another game where Tehoka Nanticoke doesn't score, but it doesn't matter. I think he scored in the first 14 freaking games anyway, so might as well have somebody else, take the reins and have great nights. Clay Scanlon on another behind-the-back pass from Josh Byrne. Those guys have a connection, Tony. It is extremely underrated in this league. When you get Josh Byrne and Clay Scanlon on the floor together, it's not just Dane and Josh, or it's not just, Josh and Ian. Josh and Clay are a very underrated duo, and when you get them in a flow state and you leave Clay wide open and Josh can just hit him with that behind the back pass, wide open shooting lane for him, Clay Scanlon's going to put that ball away 10 times out of 10.
Scanlon and Byrne actually did that same play against Vancouver against Saskatchewan last week, and it works. And for some odd reason, no team has actually picked up on that, and I'm glad they brought that play back to do it against Vancouver because it seemed like it worked. Byrne draws 2 guys into him. Scanlon's all by himself. Here, take it. Go.
Alley-oop. Yep, behind the back alley-oop to the crib. And
I love it.
They also did that in the home Saskatchewan game, too, on the power play.
Yes, they did, and it works. So I guess no team's figured that out yet, but thank God they haven't because that play has worked 100% of the time.
We got Scanlon's finished. Clay Scanlon is also a water bug, and speaking of the water bug, Kyle Buchanan scored a power play goal to make it 12-5 too, with 12:10 remaining in the fourth quarter. By that point, the game was pretty much over. Ian McKay, solid night, 6-point night. He's looking healthy again. I want to talk about
MVP status.
Too. MVP. These are the same numbers you were getting from Ian last year, just a little bit less on the goal side of things. He's getting a lot of helpers, though. He's getting a lot of points on the assists. I will also say this on the defensive side of things. We mentioned limit at Adam Charlambides. He got 2. That's my definition of limiting a star like him. Keegan Ball, probably going to be the NLL MVP this season. Leads the league in goals, leads the league in power play goals. Keegan Ball was limited to how many goals, Tony?
1.
When you shut down, that's not limiting. That's shutting him down. He got shut down. And if you were to tell me going into that game, Charlambides is going to score 2, Keegan's only going to score 1, I would have probably told you, what do we beat the Warriors by 10? Sure enough, Bandits beat the Warriors by 10, 15-5, and they looked great. And when you look at Matt Vince's numbers, he only had to make 26 saves. What does that mean, Tony? That means a lot of the shots were not hitting the net. Credit the defense for standing in front of the net and blocking shots.
Lots of block shots.
Dawson, like I called it on the pregame, Paul Dawson was playing pissed off. He blocked a decent amount of shots. Zach Belcher had another great night out there sticking up for his players. Dylan Robinson, we saw a little bit of him, mostly in the transition game, but he did drop back and play a little bit of defense too. Thomas Whitty, who knew that guy was a physical machine too. Great night out of the defense. Everybody that played that night was, they definitely earned some sort of slice of this hey, excellence pie from this game. Mitch DeSnew, I mean, what did he get? 12 loose balls again?
Yep.
Another game with he is a game changer on defense and sets up plays for your offense. So we definitely missed him when he was out. Nick Weiss, I think he had 3 or 4 loose balls. He had 19 penalty minutes, which was interesting, but he still contributed to the game. Carter Coffey, another night where he's out there, this time at home, finally. And he looks like he could. I mean, I know he's not going to win it, but can we have like a defensive rookie of the year award?
I'd give it to him.
Like in the conversation, because you never hear his name come up. And it's just like hockey. If you never hear a defenseman's name on the broadcast, he's probably doing a pretty good job. There's probably a reason why they're not saying his name. If he's out there a lot, which he usually is, and you don't hear anybody really talking about him, he's probably doing his job. It's good. No news is good news situation with these defensemen. And if you're not really hearing their name, it's probably a good thing. Carter Coffey, another great game. And it was, his contributions to help shut down guys like Keegan Ball and Adam Charlambides and other players like that. Matt Klarich had more goals than Klarich had more goals than Keegan Ball. Who would have thought that was going to happen going into this game? Klarich, like I didn't even have him as a player to watch. Maybe I had Sheridan potting in a goal or two, but Klarich, I did not have him scoring more goals than Keegan Ball in the night, and for that reason, I feel like you need to credit guys like Carter Coffey, Zach Belter, Thomas Whitty. The Stars were shut down; they had to rely on those secondary guys. Klarich had a nice shot. I think the 4th goal to tie it was a good shot, but other than that. They had, let's just see here. They scored 5 goals, 2 from Klarich, 1 from Ball, 2 from Charlambides. They had 3 different goal scorers the entire night. And when you look on the Buffalo side of things, they had Reza Terrence, that's 1. Dane, 2. They had Dylan Robinson, 3. Josh Byrne, 4. Clay Scanlon, 5. Kyle Buchanan, 6. 6 different goal scorers. 6 goal scorers to Vancouver's 3. And that tells you that this is a complete team win. The Bandits can outshoot you. They can outwork you. They can out-depth you, if that makes any sense. They have more depth on the offensive side of things and defensively as well. They're just an all-around better team. Good teams win this game. When you have to go head-to-head against a top dog, good teams win this game. They didn't just win. They won by 10. They killed them. They mollywopped them. They wiped the floor with them. And quite literally, Tony, they kind of did wipe the floor with them, or at least some players did. Superhero night in the second half turned into fight night almost. Vancouver really couldn't keep their composure. They were pissed off that they were losing. I'll credit the guy sitting next to me in section 106 because he called the whole Zach Belter thing that went down. He saw Belter chirping the other guy. And right before the faceoff happened, it was after Reza Terrence's goal. Or somebody's goal. I don't remember who it was. They were taking a face-off. Then all of a sudden, you just see Vancouver wins the face-off. Pushing and shoving kind of erupts a little bit, and then the net all of a sudden just gets taken off its moorings, and you're like, what is going on here? Then Matt Vince is kind of getting involved in it too because
he was right there at the moment.
He's trying to shove Zach Belter into his own goalie, and then Vince wants no part of that, so he's going to toss his weight around a little bit too. It turned into a big melee scrum. But yeah, it was Thomas Whitty and Zach Belter. It was Bowering and I think it's Subich, I think is how you say his name, that really got into that scrap. So Whitty dropped the gloves too. And we'll get to Steve Priolo in a little bit, but Zach Belter sticking up for his guys and them walking to the penalty box after that dog pile finally ended. They were hyping the crowd up. You can tell that the vibes are back in Banditland. I thought the roof was going to blow off. It was so loud in that barn, but you felt like this was overdue a night like this. We went far too long without a nasty scrap. And throw on top of that the fact that the Toronto Rock didn't even come to Buffalo this year during the regular season. You felt like that pot was going to start to bubble over here and something, we're kind of reaching our boiling point here and something had to give. And I guess it took Vancouver losing by eight goals for them for the gloves to finally be shed in Banditland. But I felt like fights like that we're long overdue, and we didn't even get to the best one yet, Tony.
Oh no, the main event was yet to come, especially with all the scrapping and the pushing and the shoving, and we were just saying, try to stay out of the box as much as possible, but you have to defend your guys. You have to make sure
over at that point too. The game was
that too, yes, of course. But when you're going after our best goaltender and they're trying to take him out before playoffs even began, that's a no-no in Belter's eyes. And then Whitney just got in there too, and as well to defend his honor too as well. And then Weiss got into a scrap here and there. That's what I love about this team, is because they back each other up in case, God forbid, things like this get out of hand. And you got to tell these young studs, or young bucks, if you may say, who the real king is, or who the real man is, or who the team you have to beat is. And apparently they couldn't do that this past Saturday. And we made Vancouver realize, yeah, you may have the number 1 seed because of your record. Sure, you guys really proved yourselves to that point. But you yet to forget who the defending champions are and whose barn you're actually in right now. You're in no safety net. You're in a dangerous hazard that you're going to take back and tuck tail and run when you go back to Vancouver. So kudos on the Bandits for sticking up for each other. Kudos on Matt Vince for not taking any crap at all from what they have brought to his crease. But also, I give credit where credit is due, and that is Captain O'Captain.
Yep.
For making the biggest fight in his career and TKOing Matt Beers.
Yep. This happened right after the Resetarits goal to make it 14-5. Game's already over at this point. You see them talking back and forth with each other.
A lot of chirping.
Beers and Steve Priolo, 2 pretty big guys, pretty strong guys. And this is just a one-on-one, good old-fashioned scrap. One-on-one. We're not seeing this dog pile like we did before.
Nope.
They both get a couple good shots in. Priolo gets his right arm free, and by that point, he hits him with a right. Stuns him a bit. They grapple again. Hits him with another right. Drops him like a bad habit. And at that point, it was even louder in Banditland. Not only that, but he skates. Yeah, I'm so used to seeing hockey fights. He walks over to the penalty box. Before he steps in, he must have known in the moment that, oh, yeah, by the way, I'm wearing this Thanos jersey. I've seen the movie. Let me give a quick Thanos snap. That was the best celebration I've seen after a fight, probably since when Patty Coletta would do this in Buffalo with his hands after a fight. That was always great. Chase Fraser a couple of times would rub his hands, wash his hands off in the penalty box after a scrap too. I've never seen anything like that. When you're scrapping on Marvel Night and you're in the moment and your adrenaline is pumping, wouldn't that be the last thing on your mind? Wouldn't it be like, if that was me, I'd be like, oh yeah, it's Marvel Night. Like me when I roll into the driveway after the game's over, I'm like, I probably should have done this. The crowd would have had a reaction out of that. Like the adrenaline's pumping. What I would have done is I would have ran into the box and just started hitting the glass, trying to fire the crowd up.
Yep.
Somehow through all that adrenaline, all that noise, he runs to the middle of the 2 boxes and does the snap celebration right in front of the cameras. And that's what makes Steve Priolo so fun to watch. Does he take a lot of unnecessary penalties? Absolutely. Is there kind of a controversy here of who should be captain, Dane Smith or Steve Priolo? Maybe. But when he does stuff like that, yeah, you know why the C slapped on the right shoulder of his jersey. That was awesome. Dropped him like a bad habit. Long time since we've seen a big fight that was conclusively in our favor, because, I mean, obviously the whole Zach Belter thing that happened last year, like, I feel like ever since that happened, they've kind of restrained from fighting a little bit. They don't want to get their guys hurt.
Right.
But, I mean, at that point, these guys are instigating. Let it go at that point. And then you kind of hinted before the Nick Weiss fight. This is where a lot of the penalty minutes were thrown in at the same time. Weiss and Grant were fighting each other. Weiss took a 5-minute fighting, 2-minute roughing, 2-minute cross-check, and a 10-minute misconduct. Grant took a 5-minute fighting, 2 for roughing, and a 10-minute misconduct. And Vancouver ended up with a power play, by which, spoiler alert, they did not score on because they went 0 for 5 on the power play. But yeah, it was a crazy, crazy game filled with penalties. They seemed like they were calling a lot there from the beginning. And then there was some stuff that they weren't letting go. And hey, maybe that's a preview of what the playoffs are going to look like. Maybe the refs are going to swallow the whistle this year. And finally, maybe just finally, we won't get to see every little ticky-tack thing being called in the postseason, because that was the number one complaint I had with the referees in every single, at least every year that we've covered this show, is they don't let anything go in the playoffs. Have it be more like the NHL. If it's egregious, call it, but let the boys play. Let the boys police the games themselves. Try swallowing the whistle. I mean, the referees are already dumb anyway. They let the players police the games anyway. So why not just letting laissez go into the game with a laissez-faire attitude? Hey, you guys take over. If it's egregious, we'll make the call. That could have been a preview of what we might be seeing here in the playoffs, but I think the giant elephant is in the room, Tony. And I know that the fans want us to talk about the fights and everything.
Sure.
Already kind of did that. But the number one key takeaway from this game is that the Bandits continue to be inevitable, and for the 6th year in a row, they've clinched their spot in the NLL playoffs.
Awesome job for these guys to consistently go back and play in the playoffs. I know it gets tougher and tougher each year, especially with, the speed and how everybody can just contribute and how faster it's getting. But experience alone is what this veteran team has done for so many years, and how well the Bandits have been playing up to the standpoint. And the way I see it, this is like, you got to come to school. We're your teachers. And if you want to go make a name for yourself, when we release you and go about your career, going on to a different team and really standing yourself out, go do it. Go do it. But remember where you learned it from first. And that is from right here in Buffalo. And that is from us. We're the ones who pave the ways. We're the ones who's making, everyone say, you want to beat the best, you got to beat the best. And that's us right now, as we're standing on top of the mountain, still defending the title. And on top of it, and I'm so happy to repeat this, we're having another chance to repeat history by going for a 4th straight championship run. Wow. Can I just say that? Unreal. Yeah. I just did say that. Yep. Unbelievable, guys. Good job. Really turned it around. You really made us go from non-believers to it's going to happen again. That's what I feel like it's going to happen. And I'm a believer 100%.
And if they do the unthinkable, they'd be the first team in professional sports since like the 1980s New York Islanders to win back-to-back championships. So
that's sick.
We'll get to see what happens there. But, I mean, just you look at how the team is playing right now. You look at Matt Vince, you look at this defense, holding teams to under 10 on a consistent basis, and in this case, under 6, which is absolutely absurd. The offense, they struggled on the road a couple times, but they still came out with the victory. You know what the NLL did after they finally won the title in 2023, after 15 years of just being close but could never get over that hump since 2008. Since 2023, they made the standings unified. They wanted to make it harder for the Bandits to go back-to-back. What do they do in 2024? They go back-to-back. 2025, they also dominate. And what do they do going into the 2026 season to really attempt to put the Bandits out for good? They create a hard salary cap. Oh, and look, they lose Chase Fraser. Oh, look, they lose Chris Kluche to free agency. How the Bandits are not going to be able to keep their stars on the same team anymore. Their inevitable run is done. It has to be over because there's no way they can afford to pay all these guys. We're going to be seeing severe changes to the roster. Their run is done. Fast forward to April 7th, 2026. The Bandits currently sit at 10-6, just on the outside of a home quarterfinal matchup, and have already clinched their spot in the playoffs with 2 games to go, despite starting off the season 4-6.
That's
one
ridiculous.
word I can use to describe the Buffalo Bandits is inevitable. Inevitable. The NLL can make every rule change in the book, and I didn't even mention the Paul Dawson rule. Our whole defensive scheme, our whole defensive style was get bodies in the crease and help Matt Vince out, serve as like a second or third goaltender and block shots. They banned that rule. They made that a rule too, and they banned that. Another thing that they took away from the Bandits. So they have to go into this season with a whole new defensive scheme. And even still, the Bandits are back in this spot like they always are. So it doesn't matter what the hell the league does, what stupid rule change they do, how many penalties they call against us.
Yep.
You might lose a couple here and there, and a couple of those might be extremely frustrating, or they could be blowouts. The one thing that's for certain at the end of every single year is that the Bandits are inevitable. Change my freaking mind.
Mm-hmm. Unreal how they turned it around after looking like it was no hope at all to holy crap, we're going back again. So good job, guys, for turning it around at the right time. And we still have 2 games left in the regular season. Take one game at a time. You do not change a thing after you're going through 6 straight wins. You just keep on pressing forward and don't look back.
Don't look back. Nope. Keep your eyes going forward. I think with that, Tony, we have to do our Banditland Boulevard player of the game, or as we could say, superhero of the game on Marvel Night.
Yeah.
Man, who do you choose on this roster full of players? I'll go with one that made the night complete and really just gave the exclamation point of a blowout victory. Can I give it to Steve Priolo for being a physical, absolute menace out there on the floor? The snap, the fight, you're up by 9 goals. Let's get into a scrap and I'll beat the crap out of you. That is the stuff that captains do. They don't let their players get pushed around. They don't let Matt Beers get in their face without you paying the price. Steve Priolo, out of the whole list of players I could have chosen, I mean, I'll go with that. That's probably the most memorable part of the game. That's probably going to be the part that when I look back on this game in a couple years, oh, yeah, was that the game where Priolo did this? Was that the game where he knocked Matt Beers out? Yeah, I remember that game. I could have taken the easy way and said a certain someone that only, gave up 5 goals, but I'm going with the guy. I'll go with the captain.
Yeah, Steve Priolo definitely showed everybody why he has the C on his chest. And the reason why that is he defends his guys, he produces points when he can, but most importantly, he defends his team. And he did it so well this night, especially how great their defensive core kept Vancouver silent. Let me put a number for you guys. Second half stats, 7-1 Bandits. What does that tell you? That's point. What is that? Half a goal a quarter.
Yep.
Jesus, guys! Wow, yep. This defense has woken up big time, and the goaltending especially. Unrealistically, it's like a human wall. How do you break it? You'll never get across it. You'll never climb on top of it. You'll never go through it. It's there. It's solidified. We are scary good on defensive side, and Steve Priolo is the man with the flag and shows you that he is the captain for a reason. Good call on that one. Good call on that one.
Stevie Priolo, my Banditland Boulevard player of the game.
Well, I'm going to turn it around, and I'm going to say for a guy, even though I could praise Josh Byrne for his 10 points, I could praise Dane Smith for his 9, Reza Terrence for contributing a hat trick and getting 4, and of course my go-to guy would be Kyle Buchanan pairing of goals, but I got to go something different. Going 10 of 24 at the faceoff dot, scoring a goal by winning a faceoff and just crashing the net and having his confidence go to the net and scoring his goal, his only one that night, and that is number 8, Dylan Robinson. Robinson has shown that, look, I know Weiss can take faceoffs. I know McKay can take faceoffs whenever they want, but I want to take a shot at it. Probably said to Johnny T, let me do it. I feel like I could do this for us and for the sake that Connor Farrell is off again for another week. But man, wow, dude. You talk about Ian McKay playing any position, forward, transition, defense. Dylan Robinson has done another step better by playing Fogo man for the day. And God bless you, dude, for playing such a phenomenal all-around game, even though you got 2 points. But points don't matter when you play your position correctly, and you did that 100% of the way. I have nothing bad ever to say about number 8 again, and because how good I have been proven wrong this game. My player of the game, Dylan Robinson.
Who knows, man? Maybe D-Rob might be suited better as a transition more than a defenseman. Maybe this is the game that we found out that, hey, we got something here on the transition game with Dylan Robinson. We can try this. We can stick him here. We can friggin' put him on the offensive side. Like Tyler Hendricks does it sometimes. He plays offense sometimes. I want to see Dylan Robinson more out of the front door. That would be cool because he does have a knack of finding the back of the net.
Sure.
He plays that Peyton Krebs role where he gets really, really, really physical and occasionally scores a very gorgeous, very beautiful goal. And you're just sitting there like, wow, like, can we see more of that? Like, if we can get more Dylan Robinson goals, I'm all for it. And then he was the one in this game that kind of opened the door for the secondary goal scorers, kind of blew the game open a little bit. I know that they tied it at 4, but they never looked back since. Vancouver never took a lead after Dylan Robinson scored that goal. So just putting that out there. They did tie it, but they never got that lead back. And it was that Dylan Robinson goal that I think kickstarted that just absolute landslide ass kicking of the Vancouver Warriors. So I will definitely say that's a pretty solid pick by you. Obviously, Matt Vince. I mean, we have a whole roster of players. Matt Vince was great. Mitch just knew on the defensive side of things. Zach Belcher on the defensive side of things. Byrne 10 points. Dane 9 points, and Buchanan with a couple goals, and McKay with 6 points, and all these different. Joe Resetero scoring his first hat trick in Buffalo since probably 2015, I would say. So throw that out there as well. Point is, you can choose anybody as your player of the game. I probably wouldn't argue with you unless it was like a scratch player that you chose, which would be dumb. Sure. Obviously, you didn't watch the game. I think with that said, though, Tony, big 15-5 win. The Bandits have clinched their spot in the playoffs. They got Rochester coming up this week, and then after that, they're on the road for their final game, Game 18 in Oshawa. These last 2 games against much weaker opponents, but these last 2 games, they still have a lot to play for. They can really decide on where they end up in the first round of the playoffs. Whether or not, if they win or lose, it can determine whether or not they finish with a home quarterfinal matchup or an away quarterfinal matchup. And in case anyone forgot, these quarterfinals in the NLL, they're best of 1. Winner takes all.
One and done.
One game. So you see how they play at home. I also want to say this. The Bandits ran and they chased Dylan Ward on March 13th. They chased him out of the net. He played 29 minutes. In this game, also at home, they chased Christian Del Bianco. He didn't even finish the game. Back-to-back home games, they chased 2 very good goalies in this NLL. This is how important the home quarterfinal matchup is to me. If you go in there and dismantle Rochester and you dismantle the Firewolves and you go 2-0 the rest of the way, you are going to get that home quarterfinal matchup. No doubt in my mind.
Absolutely.
So go out there and do it, because look at the way that this team plays at home, at least lately. Look at the way this team plays at home compared to how they play on the road. They score 8 goals here on the road, 9 goals here on the road. Oh, when you go back home, it's 13 against Colorado and it's 15 against Vancouver. I need a home quarterfinal matchup. So quick spoiler to the preview episode coming up later this week. I need a win. I absolutely need a win these next 2 games. I need a home quarterfinal matchup. I'd be confident right there. If we even get a 4 seed, hey, whatever. We are going to host this quarterfinal matchup, get in the best of 3, get into the Final 4 like we always do. But just look at the way that they play at home, at least lately, and compare that to the way that they play on the road. Give me a home quarterfinal matchup. So this isn't the time to kind of put your hands behind your head and relax. Hey, we already got our playoff spot clinch. Nope.
It's not over yet.
Nope. It is actually far away from being over. You have 120 minutes of NLL lacrosse to play before the postseason starts. It's a lot of time.
Correct.
2 hours of lacrosse that you got to play. 2 games, 2 hours. And I'll tell you this. If you go 2-0 the rest of the way and finish the season 12-6, we'll get a top 4 spot. Because these teams that are in front of you are falling, and they're not just falling. They're falling at a rapid pace.
We need this next game against Rochester. We want revenge after what they did to us in Rochester. So now they're coming to our barn, and we have to make a statement. Go to Oshawa, make a statement. And then once the playoffs start, you make a statement every single game you get on the floor.
Season.
Whoever
new season. Everybody's 0-0.
That's right. So you go out there and you just dominate like you've been dominating these last 6 straight games. You just beat up your opponents. You score double-digit goals, and you limit the best. That plan's working. Don't stop using that against them. So go for it. Move 1 step forward, 1 team at a time. Rochester's your next victim. Go beat them up.
That's right. turn them into the dead birds. And guess what? I want to add a little fuel to this fire, and we're going to talk about this on the pregame. Don't you worry. But
oh yeah,
Nighthawks, according to ESPN, have a 6% chance at making the NLL playoffs. If the Bandits win on Saturday, not only do they go 11-6, but they eliminate the Rochester Nighthawks from postseason contention, and I need that.
Yes, we both need that.
Needs cake. I need that like a fat kid needs cake. I am telling you that right now because you want to talk about revenge against the Nighthawks. They already beat our ass in January. With everything on the line for Rochester, come to our barn. We'll show you a nice ass kicking. Hopefully Rochester was watching the Bandits and Warriors game, and they're like, oh, we got to play those guys next week.
And after losing to Halifax 15-10, I don't see Rochester doing any better than they did last week.
Nope. They've been giving up goals at a rapid pace to some pretty bad teams. I mean, I think of that Calgary game and I think of that Halifax game, but Bandits defeat the Warriors 15-5 on Marvel night / fight night / playoff clinching night, whatever night you want to call it. With that, Tony, time to shout out our sponsors.
Banditland Boulevard is brought to you in part by Mitchell's Tavern, located at 734 Sheridan Drive up in Tonawanda, New York. Guys, Banditland Boulevard, myself, Tony LaMonica, over there, Trevor Hauer, is telling you to go check it out. They got great food, amazing service. They will treat you like family. And if you guys want to plan on going on a trip or vacation, go to Herney's Journeys. Contact Suzanne Pike at herneysjourneys.com. Let her book your next big adventure. Also, we'd like to thank our final sponsor, and that is Nino's Pizzeria, located at 2 locations here in Western New York at 1737 Orchard Park in West Seneca and in 315 Buffalo Street in Hamburg. If you guys want to order your pizza, subs, fries, you name it, as you like it, only in America. And for those watching us here live on YouTube through StreamYard, give us that like, subscribe, hit that notification bell every time we talk about Buffalo Bandits lacrosse. And if you're just only listening in on your tablet, your phone, or on your radio station through Spotify, give us that 5-star rating that we talk only good things about the boys in orange and black, your Buffalo Bandits.
With that said, 15-5 at the KeyBank Center. Marvel Night was a success. They took down the best team in the league. Bandits are now 10-6 on a 6-game heater. Inevitable is the word that we need to start using for the Buffalo Bandits, outside of dynasty, of course, but we need to start using the word inevitable as well. But we also have to end the show with a simple sentence that only lasts 3 words. Tony, what are those 3 words?
As Sweaty always says in Banditland, help me out, guys, in 3, 2, 1. Let's go, Bandits.
Let's go.
Let's go, guys. 2 games to go. Take 1 team at a time, and let's go home hosting this again. Good luck, boys.
Inevitable.